Hi, everybody. Welcome to Things in My Head. I'm Angel, your host. Remember last week I told you that we were going to be talking with Paul Dean, who is the owner of Rocky Mountain Oils. He's our local oil expert. Now, if you've ever tried to use essential oils and you got a little lost and maybe you went online and you were looking up information, you couldn't find the information that you really needed, today's the day to listen. We're also going to have a link up on our website at www.thingsinmyheadblog.com of the previous interview that we did with Paul. Amazing information that you need to listen to if you've ever thought about getting into essential oils, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And in the first interview, we did take care of a lot of those myths and dispel a lot of the information that's out there that's not correct. Today, we are going to be talking about cleaning out your medicine cabinet, some basic oils and things that you should have in your medicine cabinet right after this.
For centuries, essential oils have been trusted to treat injuries, bring health and wellness, and peace of mind. Rocky Mountain Oils has that knowledge and experience and brings the purest essential oils to your family. Offset the high cost of medicine and rely on the experience, trust, and insight of the ancients and Rocky Mountain Oils. Call 1-866-493-8159 or visit us at www.rockymountainoils.com.
Hey, we're back. Hey, what did you think of that commercial? We are proud to announce that Rocky Mountain Oils is now a new sponsor of our show. And we just want to welcome with us today Paul Dean from Rocky Mountain Oils. Hi, Paul.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I appreciate it.
No problem. Again, huh? We're getting to be old friends, Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, so cold and flu season is almost over, and it's March, and everybody's getting itchy to get outside. They want to start cleaning up their house, cleaning out their medicine cabinets, throwing out the old junk, you know. It's kind of like our second New Year's, I think. I think a lot of people are lost about when they start essential oils, what kinds of oils should they have basically in their medicine cabinet at all times? Can you help us out?
Yes, there are lots of them that I consider universal oils or our favorite oils and things like that. There's such a huge variety. I mean, we carry over 100 single different essential oils and about 60 different blends, so it can be quite daunting.
Yeah, and I think I have most of them.
Yeah. I mean, when you fall in love with them, you just fall in love with them. Stuff. I mean, there's oils that I absolutely love, and there's oils that I absolutely hate. It's just kind of, a smell preference and then a personal body preference, what you do. But there are some basic oils that everybody likes.
Right.
Like one of the top of the list there is lavender. Mm-hmm. Lavender is an all-purpose oil that is basically what we say it's a universal oil. If you don't know what oil to use for a specific problem, grab lavender, you put it on there. Where lavender really, really shines is with burns. If you've got a sunburn or even just, some other type of burn. I'll give you an example. This was quite a few years ago. I was pulling out a casserole from the oven. Well, I had it halfway out before I realized my finger was not on the hot pad, and it was actually resting on the hot casserole dish. And I didn't want to drop my food, so I quickly threw it up on top of the top of the stove, and I literally charred about a 2-inch section on my finger, at 350 degrees. It was all white and charred. And yikes. Had this happened a long time ago when I didn't have lavender oil, I know what I was in for, throbbing pain all night long and very annoying. But what I do have is right above the stove, we always have lavender. I put like 3 or 4 drops, but I let it soak in there. After a few minutes, I put a couple more drops, and I let it soak in there for about 10 to 12 minutes, and all the pain completely left, and it was all done, all better. And you have to experience it to see. But lavender is wonderful, wonderful for burns. Also, it's great for relaxation, calming, hyperactive children and things. But then the other things that it works for, upset stomachs, headaches, bug bites, cleaning the room.
Okay, now my listeners know, and I complain about this a lot, I'm going through menopause. And the one thing that just drives me bananas around the bend is the incessant itching. And every night, my husband has to put lavender on because it's the only thing that will get rid of that itching.
Definitely good for itching. I personally kind of like another oil for itching. This leads into my second universal oil, peppermint. I like peppermint because it feels warm but cold, and it has a tingly effect. And, if I've got poison ivy or something like that, I'll put a little bit of peppermint on there because it confuses my nerve endings. It tingles them and stuff, and so then it kind of feels good rather than me wanting to itch the poison ivy there. But, peppermint, where that one really shines is, well, there are a couple of different areas. That one, brain function. If you want to increase your brain ability to think and function, peppermint oil. You can just smell it. I really like the taste of it, so I'll put a drop on my tongue. It freshens your breath. In summertime, you can add it to your water when you drink water, and what it does is it goes through and opens up your pores and allows you to feel cooler in the summertime.
Well, I know that if you mistakenly handle the bottle and have it on your hands, you need to wash your hands immediately after using peppermint, because I put some on my face by accident. And it makes your eyes water.
It does. Yes, I've had that on my fingers because I like rubbing it under my nose or on the chest for the respiration there. And if I accidentally itch my eye without washing my hands, you'll get it in there and your eye will start tearing up.
I think everybody who's ever used essential oils has done that at one time or another. Hey, I got a question for you. While we're on the peppermint, I have a listener who she wrote into me and she says that she loves peppermint. Clary sage and peppermint are two of her favorite. The only problem is that when she wants to use it is constantly throughout the day, but she works in an office, and every time she uses it, the people in the office tell her they're going to lynch her. They don't like the smell of it. They keep telling her they're going to run her out of the office. Is there any other way that maybe she could use this, or can she tone it down with a carrier oil, maybe the scent or something, so that it's not so annoying?
Well, let me kind of go with this. They said that they're going to lynch her, but, they still wear these toxic perfumes and other things that, well, at least mine
Which is her point.
Yeah, at least my peppermint's not going to give you cancer, like your propylene glycol infested toxic brew that you've got there. It comes down to this. Probably a really easy way is just put a drop on the tongue. I mean, she's going to feel it in her whole body and stimulate it, and then it's not even going to be out there. Or just a small little dab, just get your finger slightly moist and just put it right underneath your nose. Then it's not all over. Mm-hmm. But I love peppermint, and most people aren't offended with the smell of peppermint. But the more toxic the person is, the more they are not going to like the essential oil. The simple reason is the essential oils will start detoxifying the body, and so they will start getting flu-like symptoms, headaches. Oh, your oils are giving me a headache. No, it's that 5 million hamburgers you ate over your lifetime that your body, the oils are trying to clean out, and those toxins are coming into your body. However, if they're around and drink lots of water and things, they're going to flush it out, and then they're going to discover that they really love the essential oils. We've had lots of people that started out with not liking them to now absolutely love them. But carrier oil, you can tune it down a little bit, but, it'd be much better just to put a drop in your tongue or, a tenth of a drop underneath your nose right there.
That's awesome. Okay, so Jean, you heard that. Paul says to just put the peppermint on your tongue, and that should take care of things. What's another oil that we should have all the time in our medicine cabinet?
Another low-cost oil that's wonderful is lemon. Lemon, smelling it makes you feel happy, uplifts all the citruses will help uplift your mood. Lemon is also really, really good at killing bacteria and viruses, so people can clean with it. They diffuse it to smell good in their house and also uplift the energy, and also to clean out any pathogens in the air, in the environment. One thing that most people will do with lemon is just put a drop in their water and drink a few drops throughout the day, because that will help flush out the toxins so they don't build up.
Well, speaking of that, I know for a fact, because I not only do this show, but I'm a singer as well. And when I go to sing, if my throat is not feeling 100%, or if I feel a little raspy, even before I do voiceovers or anything like that, I will do exactly what you just said. Put a couple of drops of lemon in a bottled water, shake it up, and within seconds, I'm good to go. And the raspiness is gone. I guess it's tightening of the vocal cords. All of that is gone. The lemon does its magic within a couple of sips. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I really like flavoring my water with lemon just because of the powerful health benefits and long-term benefits. I mean, literally a bottle can last you months, and you just put a little bit in your water and you feel better. So that's another one that's really low cost. Most people are familiar with lemon, but my favorite oil of the citruses is distilled lime. I absolutely love the smell with it. It's the most favorite one, but really any of the citrus oils can be used the same as lemon, cleaning the air, make you feel happy, detoxifying the body.
They have, like when you put them in cleaners and things, I know that when we see the commercial cleaners, there's always some kind of citrus in them. Is it an antibacterial property that they have?
It does. The viruses and bacteria can't be in the presence of the lemon oil there. It kills it off there. But really, I think the reason why they put it in that and put it in the dish soap and things is because to make people happy. Make them happy while they clean, make them happy while they're doing the dishes. It has that euphoric, uplifting effect.
Paul, there is nothing on God's green earth that will make me happy doing dishes. I don't care what they put in it. It ain't going to do it. Okay, next.
Oh, yeah. No, well, let me go into some of my more higher expense oils before I hit a couple of my other lower cost oils. But frankincense. I love frankincense, and frankincense is, one that's been used for thousands of years, and it's great. It's the oil that's considered the most powerful anti-tumoral essential oil. It's considered also the oil that's going to best build up your immune system. It's great for the skin, a general tonic, frankincense, and you put it on, and that oil is kind of a more herby smelling oil. It's a deep grounding, herby smelling oil. It contains the sesquiterpenes that go between the blood-brain barrier. So diseases of the mind, someone having seizures, it can stop the seizures or pull them out of the seizure. I've had lots of people who, normally after they've had a seizure, they say they walk around in a brain fog for hours and hours and hours. If they go and put a little bit of the frankincense on, 15, 30 minutes later, they're back to normal. Wonderful, wonderful oil. What we sell is 3 different types of frankincense. My most popular one, and the one I absolutely love, is the sacred frankincense. That's the oil that is most therapeutic for, healing of chronic conditions and general overall healing. We also have a low-end frankincense that is from India. That one would be more like an everyday tonic type of frankincense, use it every day. And then we have the Somalian frankincense, and that's what I call the medium-grade frankincense, but that's what other companies normally sell as their high-end frankincense.
Right, and I've always wondered what the difference was, because I know there's a little bit of a difference in price, too.
Yes, and generally it comes down to the quality of the resins, the extraction method, and what it really comes down to is the therapeutic property. The more expensive oils we bring on are going to be more therapeutic. If we ever get an oil that is more therapeutic but the same or less money, we completely discontinue our old oil that we had and just carry the more therapeutic one. For what we do is we want to have the actual best oil. For example, we used to, early on, we used to sell a high altitude French lavender, and we actually contracted with our Hungarian farm over there, and their lavender turned out to be more therapeutic for the same price. So, one day we just completely discontinued our French lavender and only brought on our Hungarian lavender. Even though we had, lots left over, we sold that to another manufacturer that wanted that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we try to do that. But generally, if you go and look at the catalog and you see what's the difference, this costs this price and this one's more expensive, the more expensive one is going to be more therapeutic. It just comes down to that.
So you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on. I got all of those, by the way, in my medicine cabinet so far. So keep going.
Well, one of my favorite oil that if I was on a desert island all by myself, this is one oil that I would have. It's Helichrysum italicum. We carry 2 different types of helichrysum. The one that's half price basically does half the good. It's great for pain and bruising, but the more expensive helichrysum will get rid of the pain, bruising. It promotes new cell growth. It's nerves. It works wonderful for the nerves. But the reason why I love helichrysum, and you're going to have to see it to believe it, I've experienced numerous people tell me, I didn't believe you when you said all this wonderful thing, but I tried it and now I'm a believer. But literally, if you get a wound that you'd normally rush down to the emergency room and go and, get 5, 10, 20 stitches with, you just take out your helichrysum, put a few drops in the wound, bandage it up, look at it the next day. 2 weeks of healing happens overnight.
In the last interview that we did, you told us a story about your son who took the machete to him by accident. And before you know it, in the afternoon, he was digging to China after cutting himself with it. And we've actually experienced similar results with some blends that have helichrysum in it. Now, I don't have helichrysum in my medicine cabinet yet. The helichrysum is amazing even in the blends.
Oh, yes, yes. One of the blends, our first aid oil, it has helichrysum in it. Reason being is, we not only want to clean and disinfect the wound, but we also want to promote healing with it. So we do have helichrysum in some of the blends. It's not going to be as effective on wound healing as the straight stuff, but it's still going to be really highly effective.
Yeah, it works really good, I think, for scrapes and things like that. Like nothing extreme, but, like minor scrapes and bruises. And now, is that safe to use on kids?
It is, yes. Just a little bit goes a long way, but even the elderly, I have some hospice nurses that buy that regularly for putting on bed sores. They say any of the prescription stuff that they have doesn't even come close to doing what the first aid oil does. It says it's a black and white difference. So they always just do that and have that. But it is, your child falls down, put a little bit of oil on it. Bam, they're good to go. It'll take away some of the pain and help heal up.
We're talking medicine cabinet clean out with Rocky Mountain Oils expert, Paul Dean. So, Paul, we've got, so far we've had lemon, lavender, frankincense, peppermint, and helichrysum metallica, which is actually one of the more expensive oils.
Oh, yeah.
How much is that one? Because I don't want to shock my listeners.
The price, it's in about $150 for the big bottle. The price has just tripled and more higher in value over the last few years, simply because more people are finding out about it. The supply and demand, wonderful oil, but very, very hard to get. The pure stuff, it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. We talked about adulterated oils and things that people add, different companies will add different things to these oils. Honestly, the ones that work, the ones that are pure are going to be more expensive. That's just the way it is because you guys work directly with the farms. You go basically from farm to seal. And I know that there are other companies that make that claim out there. Whether they do or they don't, we're not going to say. We don't know. But we know that Rocky Mountain Oils does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that's one thing that we really like to do is work with the small farmers. There's a big difference in the oil quality between, 5,000 acres of lavender and, a gentleman who's doing, 20 or 30 acres of lavender. I mean, the person who's doing the 20, 30 acres cares for the plants, distills it, not in a hurry, can distill it right and all of this. But I mean, yesterday I was talking with a farmer and I was interviewing him, trying to talk about it. He said, we don't sell the synthetic stuff like everybody else. This is the pure stuff. We don't mix it. I go, yeah, I know that. That's why I'm talking to you. One of my French experts says that he thinks that 99% of all lavender sold in America has been adulterated by the synthetic. And I don't disagree with that assessment.
Buying from Rocky Mountain Oils, obviously, when you get your medicine cabinet cleaned out, buy your oils from Rocky Mountain Oils because Paul is saying they're pure, they're guaranteed. This is the owner of the company, and he's been on here a couple of times, and he's made the same claim. And I think you said in the last interview, you're not worried about what everybody else is doing because you know what you're doing.
Exactly. I just keep doing it, and when people know about quality oils, they come and find us.
Yeah, they do. They do. So what else should we have in our medicine cabinet after helichrysum metallica?
Well, one of the singles that I really like, eucalyptus. There's a few different varieties, but I like the Eucalyptus citriodora because it's one that I consider more therapeutic and less potentially harmful. The eucalyptus oils can be toxic if taken internally in small amounts. Small amounts meaning, you're drinking a couple bottles, which is just utterly ridiculous. Nobody's going to do that. But that's one that's considered, very warning caution on that. But I like the Eucalyptus citriodora because it's the safer oil. It's safe. It smells a little bit different. It's considered, the common name is lemon eucalyptus there. It kind of has a lemony, herby eucalyptus smell. But I really like that for lungs, people who have lung infections and doing that, cleaning out the lungs. But it's also a great pain reliever. Much like peppermint is too. You got pain and inflammation.
Well, I know that a lot of commercial products that, like, especially during cold and flu season,
oh yeah,
a lot of times they'll put a eucalyptus scent in their products because of that, because it'll open up the sinuses or open up the lung.
Yeah, and it's a good multi-purpose oil to have, and it's great for the lungs. Let me kind of jump over tea tree oil. We sell two different types of the Melaleuca. We have the tea tree, which is Melaleuca alternifolia, and the Melaleuca oil, which is Melaleuca quinquevira. Other companies call it by other names, but the harvester actually called it Melaleuca oil, so that's what we call it ourselves. The tea tree is powerful for anything fungal and also cleaning the wounds and things like that. My actual first experience with the essential oils was actually with tea tree oil.
Yeah, when you were here last time, you actually told that story, and because of that, I had my husband gets cold sores a lot, and he started to have one forming. I guess it was right after you were here last time, so a couple of months ago. And I told him, I ran and grabbed the tea tree oil really quick, and I said, you need to put this on. Just put it on whenever you think about it, just, a drop. And he did that whole day, right when it was starting to form. He says he can feel it kind of tingling when it's underneath the skin and going to come out. And so he put that on there, and he forgot about it the next day, actually, because it never did manifest. I mean, the second he felt that cold sore coming on, he put the tea tree oil on, and it never manifested. And usually during a winter season, he will have cold sores probably come on maybe 2 or 3 times during the season. Never again. I mean, this whole season, he's not had any more. No problems with it, no tingling, nothing. He hasn't had to use it again.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and to me, it's proof that the essential oil went in and killed the virus there, killed it off. One thing that tea tree people like to use it for is, fungal infections. Fungal infections are a very, very interesting thing to deal with because it's long-term. If you want to keep your toenail, literally you have to wait till your toenail completely grows out, which is 8 to 10 months later. Lots of people who would just put tea tree on in the morning, a drop right on the toenail area, and then a drop at tea tree at night, and they do that, and then their toenail grows completely out, and then they're done with it. But that's a long process. But, athlete's foot, toenail fungus, cold sores, wound cleaning generally, that's just a wonderful oil on hand. And the tea tree is a more harsh, the Melaleuca oil is a more gentle, I'd say more universal, gentler oil. I kind of like the Melaleuca, but if you're going to go with toenail fungus or cold sores, I'd say use the harsh stuff. But, children probably would really like the Melaleuca a lot better because it's a lot more gentler.
Now that brings up a point, and we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier in the show. Children. There's some oils you just shouldn't use on children.
Well, yes and no. Both of them.
Okay.
Sort of like going to the beach, You could go to the beach and have fun and a great time, or you could go to the beach and get a, massive sunburn or drowned in the ocean and all of that. And so it's kind of like that. Using essential oils, if you use them with wisdom and caution and safety, they can be very, very great. If you go to extreme, and children, because they're small, they have sensitive skin, you want to be really cautious. But if you're not cautious, you can do damage. But some of the oils that I would consider not to use would be, hormone oils like clary sage or, some of those, just because simply they don't need it. However, in some of the cases, they actually may need it. And so you have to use your wisdom on what it is.
So always put a carrier oil with it, or?
It will vary and change up, but as a general rule, starting out, always use a carrier so you can understand how it works with you. When my children were there, definitely when they're starting out being infants, and we'd always mix it with a carrier oil, 1 drop of pure oil to 10 or 20 drops of carrier oil, and use it that way. But as they got older, we could start using the oils on them, 1 drop pure. But it depends on the child and where you're using it and how you're using it. But, oils that are hot, like oregano or cinnamon or thyme, you absolutely want to make sure you dilute them, and you dilute them extensively because they're very, very hot and they can burn and blister the skin.
Yeah, I mean, even as an adult, you should use a carrier oil with those hot oils, I know, because it can be a little detrimental, especially when you're just getting used to them. We're talking about cleaning out your medicine cabinet, oils that you need to have on hand all the time. just your basic everyday oils that you can use instead of using all of those over-the-counter medications that we've used probably all winter long to get rid of the colds and the flus and the scrapes and the bumps and the fevers. Throw all of those out. We're going to replace them with oils. So that's it for this week's show. Unfortunately, we ran out of time talking with Paul Dean of Rocky Mountain Oils, but that's okay because you can come back next week to www.thingsinmyheadblog.com and you can listen to part 2 of this same interview. Remember, you can always find us on iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, and on Spreaker, the iHeart affiliate. You can buy Rocky Mountain Oils at RockyMountainOils.com, or you can use our affiliate link as well and help support our show. As always, thanks for listening. Take care, everybody.